Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Josiah Pritchett.
I'm Maisy Pritchett. Welcome to the third episode of Gamecast.
And I'm John Pritchett.
And yeah, this is our third and final part of our little mini series on Nintendo's consoles since the Wii.
So we've done Wii
and Wii U. So we will leave links to those videos in the description. And yeah, so
why don't, before you tell us about the Switch, why don't you start with telling us about how Nintendo was doing? Mm-hmm. Because you told us in the last episode that with the Wii U, they weren't having a great time. It wasn't selling really well, and people didn't really like it, and they were a bit confused. So how is Nintendo doing? Were they doing good, or did they need to do something big?
Mm-hmm. Well, two things. One, people didn't hate it. It was pretty good. Yeah, you were right about that. People were confused. And two, they were not doing well. They needed to do something new. They needed, last ditch effort. Ditch effort.
So there were no dishes involved?
no dishes involved.
Are you sure? Because I think they need dishes to eat.
No. They need to do a last ditch effort. So we.
Are you sure? Because you fell into a ditch with your bike and you had to get stitches.
Okay. Well, anyway, they need last ditch effort. They needed to do something big. So they did the last resort.
They crack your head open and get stitches?
Okay, Maisy.
Don't do that.
Okay, so they needed a last-ditch effort.
Last-ditch effort.
And what year did they first start hinting about the Switch?
Well, first it wasn't a hint. That was basically their announcement saying, hey, Satoru Iwata, may he rest in peace. He himself announced, hey, we're working on a new system. The working title is the NX, and yeah, it's going to be coming out in the next few years because...
What year was that he announced it?
2014 or 2015.
Okay. 2014, I think. Yep.
2014.
Yep.
It was announced.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a
shareholder meeting.
Shareholder meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. The last shareholder meeting that Mr. Iwata attended in his lifetime. And then that was one in 2015. But anyway. So, yeah, they announced the NX. They didn't announce much. They didn't announce how it looked. They didn't announce the selling point. Because, they all have their selling points. GameCube, well, I guess it was a lunchbox-looking thing. We had motion controls. Wii U, had the gamepad. And the Switch, we didn't know its selling point yet. We knew nothing about it other than it was going to happen at some point in time. It wasn't even called the Switch.
I was only 2. How did I miss out on this?
Because, anyway, even I didn't know about it at the time, but yeah. We didn't, and it wasn't even called the Switch at the time. It was going to be called the NX. No, that wasn't what it was going to be called, because who wants to buy a system called the NX?
Yeah.
Me.
You want to buy a system called the NX?
I can name it. Nancy.
Can't think of a word that starts with an X.
Yogurt. Nancy Saxophone.
Nancy Saxophone.
Oh.
No, not saxophone.
Xylophone?
Xylophone.
Oh.
Nancy Xylophone. Okay, that's what the NX standard for, I guess. So yeah. Then a few years later, 2016, they fully revealed the Switch.
When did they do it?
They did it in late 2016 because they wanted to get the word out. What
kind of event was it?
They just released it on their
They
YouTube
called
channel.
it a Switch because you can switch the back off.
No.
October 20th, 2016.
I know why they called it a
Switch.
Switch. I know why they called it a Switch. Because they switched the name.
I don't think that's why they called it a Switch.
No.
But when they announced it, what did they say the killer feature was?
It was that it was a hybrid console, and they showed off a bunch of games like the Zelda, Skyrim, Splatoon, new Mario game, which would eventually become Mario Odyssey. What else did they show? They showed a bunch of games, gosh.
So, did they tell people what they mean when they say a hybrid console?
Mario Kart, they showed off Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Hybrid console. So, they say hybrid console. It's because it's a portable and home console. So, here's a simulation from my mouth.
Why don't you show Maisy?
He's in my mouth, but I don't have the dock.
No, that's okay, but Maisy can hold it up while you're talking about it.
Okay, so say you're, doing a late night gaming session, just using a Switch, yeah. But then, yes. But then your kid said, Dad, I I need to go out on a walk. I need my vitamin D.
But it's night. The sun's not out. How are you getting vitamin D?
Okay. I need my vitamin D from the moonlight, I guess. I need vitamin D from the moonlight.
No, we need to catch the dog. He ran away.
Oh yeah, we need to catch my dog. He ran away.
Okay, so we're catching the dog. You're playing your video game.
And you're really frustrated because you care about your own video games more than your. Maisy, stop. Okay, we're gonna need to crop that part out. Definitely crop it out. Okay.
Well, she's a savage. We'll leave her in.
Okay. Okay. But don't do that, Maisy. Seriously, don't do that. Okay. So anyway, because you care about your video games more than your son and dog's needs. You care more about your video games.
That sounds like me.
So then you're like, but I don't want to go out. But Dad, just use undock it. You're right. He pulls the things out of the controller. So you're thinking, oh gosh, this guy's crazy. He's breaking his controllers. Then he puts them in the console. It's like, okay, this guy's lost his mind. But then he pulls it out, and it's now a portable system. And you're like, oh, that's a really cool thing. And you can go catching your dog and play your system with that.
I think it's a good thing that you don't make the commercials for Nintendo.
No, but yeah, that's not a good idea. Running, trying to catch a dog and playing games. It's like.
Okay, so the killer feature was.
It was a hybrid system.
Okay, and what were some of the big title releases?
So
first of all, when did it actually release?
March 3rd, 2017.
Okay, and had Iwata died by then?
Yes, Mr. Iwata had died.
So he never got to see the launch of this new console.
But here's the sad thing: a lot of people blame him for the failure of the Wii U, but nobody credits him for the success because he did work a lot on it.
Did he? Oh, okay.
He was working on it the days before he died.
So this is kind of his legacy now. He saved the consoles for Nintendo.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a launch. It was a huge success. And it became a game saver. It saved Nintendo. It saved them from, collapsing. It saved them. And it saved them.
So were there any good games with it at launch?
Game of the year right here, Breath of the Wild. We talked a little bit about this in the last episode, but here's a brief history of the game. There was a tech demo shown in 2011 for the Wii U of a new Zelda game. Now, it looked totally different from what Breath of the Wild is. And yeah, it was a cool tech demo. People got excited, and Nintendo announced that they were planning for the next Zelda. And then Eiji Aonuma, who's the director of this series, not creator. That's Shigeru Miyamoto. But yeah, he's the series director and also director of Breath of the Wild. He announced that they were gonna do two things. So they were gonna change what it meant to be a Zelda game. So first, they were gonna do a completely open world, because yes, most Zelda games are open world, but the first three games were so open, you could go anywhere. Although then when they went into 3D with Ocarina of Time, that just went away. Didn't happen anymore.
So it wasn't a full open world?
No, I mean it was open world, but it wasn't a full open world. So they wanted to change that and make Breath of the Wild. Now, and they didn't announce on a release date. They didn't show any gameplay, but also they did it so that you didn't have to play alone, which I don't know what that means, but I guess okay, sure. And then at the Game Awards, not the Game Awards. Then they showed a small trailer of the game, and we got our first look. Well, actually, a cinematic. We got a cinematic, which didn't actually, happen in the final game. It was just Link on a horse being chased by a guardian shooting lasers, and then he, he was in a hood, and then
are they aliens or old-timey people, or what are they?
They're
lasers.
No, they're
people
they're
being
built,
chased on a horse.
They're built by the Sheikah, so they're weird robot-looking kings, but they're not robots.
Oh.
But anyway, so yeah, he's about to shoot a laser at him, but then Link unhoods himself. Although he's not wearing his iconic hat and tunic.
Are you describing the trailer?
What? I need to tell them.
But they can put a link to the trailer.
Oh yeah, I'll put a link. But then they started to think that maybe this guy wasn't Link.
Ooh.
And they thought maybe he was actually a she. But then later Nintendo revealed that was just a joke, and that guy in the trailer was Link. Although they said that they were thinking of having a different character in the game, and even possibly having Zelda as the playable main character. But then some issues came. What would Link do? Yeah, what would he do? And also
Maybe Zelda should save Link.
Okay, but here's the thing. They
Yeah.
also have to consider the balance of the Triforce. They have to consider that, the balance of the Triforce.
I think one always has to consider the balance of the Triforce.
Yeah, you always have to do that. That's a
The
complicated...
force is with you.
Wrong story.
Wrong franchise. Totally different franchise.
Sorry.
But yeah, and then they announced for sure that it was gonna. Then they announced that it was gonna release sometime in 2015. And then
So, what do you think of that game?
it's really fun, but there's more. There's more to the history. Then at the Game Awards of 2014, there was a video of Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto playing the game, and yeah, we got our first look of gameplay. Although it sort of looked different from what we got. There was many differences, but I'll leave a link in the description for Beta 64's video. There's a lot of interesting stuff. He's not sponsored. Just saying he's not sponsoring this video. Just
But he can if he wants to.
Yeah, Beta 64. You can sponsor us if you want to. But yeah, I'll leave a link in the description for his video. There's a lot of there. You can get more detail from his video. But then they announced for sure in that trailer that it was going to release in 2015. Now that was changed because in Nintendo Direct in March 2015, Aonuma said that while they were finishing the game, a bunch of new ideas had a bunch of people had more ideas, and that sparked more new ideas. So yeah, they had delayed the game and just pulled it off its release schedule, and it was now to be determined. And they also said to not expect the game at E3 that year. And originally this was going to be for Wii U, just saying. Although then, at E3 of that year, Reggie Fils-Aimé, the former president of Nintendo of America, he said that to expect the game in 2016. And then in another Nintendo Direct in 2015, I think late 2015, where they announced Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U, and also announced the Wolf-Link amiibo. They had said that they would have a function in their new Zelda game, and they announced for sure that it was going to release in 2016. Although then some release documents from Nintendo were leaked, and it said that the Untitled Zelda game, which would later be Breath of the Wild, was delayed to 2017. And they also announced that, and also there was a Twitter post from Nintendo that confirmed that they had delayed the game, and this time it was going to have a simultaneous release on the Wii U and the NX, which of course would later become the Switch. But, so yeah. And they said that for two reasons. That one, it was taking longer, the game was taking longer than expected, and now they had the chance to do it. And two, it was originally going to have, map on the gamepad, but then they decided not to do that because it sort of took away your focus from the actual game on the TV. So they decided to scrap that idea. So it wasn't really going to be using any of the Wii U's unique features, so porting it would be pretty easy. So yeah, that was what they did.
Okay.
And eventually, GameBot revealed, yada, yada, yada. They announced the release date, March 3rd, Switch launch day, and yeah, that stuff happened, got released.
Okay, so hang on. Is this an episode about Zelda, Breath of the Wild, or the Switch?
The Switch. So,
Okay, but what do you think of this game?
6 stars.
Out of how many?
5. 6 out of 5. It's
Have
amazing.
you finished the game?
Yes, I have.
I'd give this game 6 out of 5.
Okay.
And then, what were some of the... Let's go quickly through
Can I
these
explain
ones.
this? Can I explain this?
Yeah, well, Maisy gets to explain one.
No, wait. Okay. You can explain it later.
No.
Okay, I guess.
So, this is
Keep it over here so people can see it.
Super Mario 3D World.
You can talk loud enough for
Plus
people to hear you.
Bowser's. Plus Bowser. Is that too loud?
What do you think?
Average voice, Maisy.
Okay. Plus Bowser's Fury. And what me and my friends like about this game is we can choose.
They've played it on Wii U now.
Yeah, we can change who we are, and we like that we have time limits. Most of the time, me and my friend lose a lot, and then we just get the magical leaf that makes us invincible.
Okay.
And sometimes you get the stars, sometimes we don't. Basically, the plot of this game is you have to, the pixies, the Sprixies, they get trapped by Bowser, and
You have to save him.
you have to save them. Basically, what you can see here is Luigi, Mario, Peach, and Toad. Those are the only playable characters, but the cool thing about this...
And Rosalina, you unlock her after finishing the next level in World Star.
And basically, you can, me and my friend love this, that you can get these cat bells, and you can turn your little character
Do a cat.
into a cat suit, and you can climb up things and you can claw people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the things that I love about this.
Cool.
And
All
then,
right, what were some of the other games, Joe?
well, one game that was announced but hasn't been released yet. Metroid Prime 4. So
it was announced way back then, and they still haven't released it?
yeah, so here's Metroid Prime 101. So Metroid is the series with Samus, Bounty Hunter, and Super Metroid was a game changer. But then Metroid didn't have a game on the Nintendo 64. Sure, Samus was in Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64, but that wasn't the same. There was no Metroid. But then, in a sizzle reel for the GameCube, here's just really quick history.
Yeah.
And then they revealed that there was a new Metroid game, and this one was a first-person shooter, and it became a massive success. Sequel release on the GameCube, another massive success. Third game on the Wii, another huge success. And then a trilogy compilation on the Wii, which had a different version of Metroid Prime 1 and 2, which I personally prefer from the original versions.
Okay.
And yeah, it was great. And then, in 2016, we heard some weird noises in a trailer. And then
a trailer.
no, it was just a teaser. But then they revealed the logo. Metroid Prime 4 was in development for Nintendo Switch, and people went hyped. They were hyped. And now, also keep in mind, the original trilogy was developed by Retro Studios, who are most known for developing the newer Donkey Kong Country games, and yeah, of course, the original Metroid Prime trilogy. Although, here's the thing. They weren't going to develop this one, I don't think. I think this one was going to be Nintendo. And there was also rumors of them working on a Star Fox game called Star Fox Grand Prix,
But how did it not come out?
well, it hadn't had a release date, they didn't announce what it was going to be, and other than, in a trailer in early 2019, they did a trailer and said that the game was scrapped and they started over. And they were giving it to Retro Studios.
So they're coming out, they're still saying they're coming out with it?
Yeah, there keeps being Retro Studio hires. They're keeping hiring new people, and yeah, people are getting excited. And I think we might get a small update, maybe even a small teaser later this year, possibly.
Okay. So listen, you got 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, because you took so much time on Zelda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, okay, next Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This game is awesome. They announced it in 2018, early 2018, in a trailer that revealed that anyway, they announced it in a trailer.
I thought this was
Were you going to describe the trailer
Almost.
again?
And
Don't hold it in front of your face.
they announced it, it got a reveal, and then they said everyone was here. That's the slogan for the game. Everybody's here, because everyone in Smash Bros. Game is in.
Does that mean that,
Okay, you got to talk slow enough that people understand what you're saying.
And yeah, it released, was a massive success, and yeah.
okay, next game.
Breath of the Wild has a sequel coming, and it was announced in E3 2019.
Don't you dare start.
No, I wasn't.
explaining.
And then, it was announced.
Did it have a trailer?
Yep. There were no gameplay.
Now this. Animal Crossing.
Oh. And then also Banjo-Kazooie joined Smash, which was a big surprise because they're actually owned by Microsoft.
Cool.
Yeah. And then a surprise, and also Animal Crossing New Horizons. This was announced in 2018 and was going to release in 2019. But then in E3 2019, they did a full reveal of the game, and they announced it was going to take place on an island and it would be called New Horizons. But guess what? It was delayed to early 2020.
Good thing that was his birthday.
But yeah, no, it wasn't. That's May 2020. May is my birthday, not March. And yeah, the game released with a huge hit. Had a lot of anticipation behind it, weirdly.
Oh, you caught it?
I guess because, it's a game that anybody can play. Even, non-gamers can play it.
I can play it?
Yeah.
Gotta teach me how to play that.
Okay. Other games. So there were also some games for Mario's 35th anniversary. Mario 3D All-Stars, which comes with a port of Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. Of course, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is a new game where...
I just explained it.
Nintendo Labos was a unique idea, too. I have 3 of these. There is a vehicle kit that I don't have, but who cares? And then, of course, I have these 3, most of them. And, yeah, these are pretty cool.
Not in front of your face.
Oh, and then, these are pretty cool. Basically, there's these cardboard things that you can put together and play these games. And the VR kit was definitely a really cool one. It's basically a Virtual Boy, but way better. And it's even compatible with other games like Super Mario Odyssey. There's a new mode you can play in VR. In Breath of the Wild, the entire game is compatible in VR.
Nice.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yep.
And then some other games here. I'm gonna have. Sorry, Switch. you have Luigi's Mansion 3. I was really hyped for this when it was
Please
announced.
Don't explain.
No. I said I was really hyped. Mario Maker 2, this is a big one, was announced. People were excited.
That's a cool one.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This one I was really, really excited for.
So they called it Super Mario U, but
Deluxe.
put it out on the Switch.
Switch, yeah. Link's Awakening remake. This is a remake of a Game Boy game of the same name. And this has a pretty unique diorama toy art style. Super Mario Party. This was the Mario Party game of Switch. It was a good game, but was a disappointment. It was a disappointment for not having very many boards, but it was still a fun game that you can play with your friends.
Oh
and
yeah,
family.
I remember we played that with our family.
Yeah. And then ARMS. This one was really popular for a month. Few months, I think. But yeah, it was popular for
Does it have a sequel called Legs?
No.
Body,
Torsos?
heads, ears, nose, mouth.
No.
Eyes.
Super Mario Odyssey. This one was another one that they revealed. There was a tech demo during the Switch reveal trailer, and it showed Mario. And it showed a new Mario game that eventually became Mario Odyssey. So this one, your hat is live for some reason, and it can control, and you can throw it, and it can possess people. That was a cool thing, and people weren't excited for this game. As soon as the hat got eyes on it in the trailer, there was like, okay, this game's gonna suck. But then Jump Up Superstars started playing, and they revealed the capturing feature. Then people fell in love.
What's the capturing feature?
It's basically you can possess enemies.
Oh,
so that
cool.
was pretty cool. And you can even possess Bowser! Finally! And finally, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This is a Hyrule Warriors game. So Hyrule Warriors, here's Hyrule Warriors really quick 101. Here's Hyrule Warriors in a nutshell. It's basically, if you think of Dynasty Warriors but with Zelda characters. So Age of Calamity was meant to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild, but no, it's actually taking place in an alternate timeline. What if the champions and Link and Zelda 100 years before Breath of the Wild had destroyed the Calamity?
Oh.
Which is something...
Well, Joe, you're explaining the game. You were just supposed to say the title and what you thought about it.
Hey, it's his podcast. We're just support.
And
No,
anyway,
sidebar entertainment.
thanks for watching the Gamecast. We will see you in the next episode. We don't know
What are we
the
going to
next
talk about?
episode's
Hang on.
my
We can't
episode.
finish yet. Okay?
What are we going to talk about?
How long before you think they put out a new generation system?
Well, let's see. It's 4 years old now, so usually they last for about 7 years. So I'd say 3 more years of this lifetime. But
So
I'd
maybe
say
in about a year we might hear hints of
a
what
new
they're doing?
system. Oh, also the Switch Pro is very rumored right now.
Oh,
so.
okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah. So next episode, leave us in the
It's actually going to be my episode.
Suggestions and comments. What should we talk about in the next episode? Should
But
we-
you guys have
should
to
we
make
talk
it
about
something that I can talk about.
Xbox, Game Boy. We can talk about even games like
Oh yeah, Joe, I'm doing
Skylanders
it.
is one I really wanted to do for a while, but we had
Oh,
to.
you guys should do Skylanders next time.
Yes,
'cause
we
you
are
both
definitely
like
doing.
Skylanders.
So yeah, that change your mind. Do not, or you can leave suggestions in other future.
Because I'm
episodes.
going to do my
But
own
The
episode.
next episode is gonna be about Skylanders.
How do
one
you
of
know I
my
won't do my
favorite games
episode
of all
first?
time.
I might do my episode first.
All right.
And that was the Gamecast. We will see you in the
See
next
ya.
episode.
See ya.